On behalf of the Youth Researchers for a New Education System, we would like to welcome you to our findings report on the New York City public school education system. But before we begin, the members of the YRNES group would like to introduce ourselves and later explain what our project is about.
Hi, my name is Nzenga Nkrumah. I'm currently a student at Penn State University. I attended LaGuardia Arts High School in New York. Outside of school, as an extracurricular activity, I was a part of the Youth Researchers for a New Educational System, nicknamed the YRNES Research Project. What we did is we basically figured out what were the issues in our public educational system in New York.
Hi, I'm Ludwig Saintis. I'm another member of the Youth Researchers for a New Educational System, which is also the YRNES. Currently, I'm attending Lehman College, but I attended LaGuardia Arts High School in New York. Basically, what we did in this project, we conducted about over 500 surveys, and we handed them out to students all over the city.
Hi, my name is Alexander Rivera. I am a rising senior at Mount St. Mary College. The school that I went to before when I was in high school was Henry Street School for International Studies on the Lower East Side. I'm 21 and I'm here to help out on the YRNES video project.
In this video, we're going to give you a look at our research, give you some statistics from our paper, look at the problem tree, and give you our perspective on what we think a great high school experience would be for New York City high schoolers. And enjoy!
This is the problem tree that we constructed. It's entitled "The Current New York City School System Isn't Working." It portrays the causes of many current problems in the New York City educational system. The tree was designed into 4 sections: leaves, branches, a trunk, and roots. The leaves represent some issues experienced by public school students in New York City. The branches and leaves are color coordinated and divided into 9 sections. Each cluster of leaves is a subsection to its concurrent color branch. For example, one of the leaves states, "lack of mutual respect between teachers and students." This leaf relates to the branch of staff, teachers' attitudes, and disrespect. The trunk illustrates some symptoms that can be attributed to the problems within the leaves. For example, a part of the trunk that would relate to our previous example could be, "goal is to maintain the status quo while pretending to provide equal opportunity." Finally, the 5 roots represent the underlying problems that can be attributed to the symptoms and problems written in the leaves and the trunk. For example, a belief that power or knowledge comes from the top, so the best way to do things is top down. So other than all the students who were interested in our projects and in our findings, we also found a grad professor at NYU who said he used our problem tree for his research course. So that was a very exciting experience to actually meet him.
Let's take a look at our 3 major findings. Finding number 1, young people believe their schooling is important to them.
In our survey, there was a section entitled, "My classes give me useful preparation for what I plan to do in life." Out of the 492 students that responded, only 46% agreed with this statement.
In this table, 61% of the 486 students that responded agreed to the statement, "I am getting a good education at my school." However, only 48% of low-income youth agreed with this statement, while 70% of middle to high-income youth agreed. This is a striking contrast.
Finding number 2, resources and access to opportunities are unfairly distributed in our school system and in our schools.
Here we found that only 49% of the 496 students in large or converted schools agreed with the statement, "My school provides me with resources I need in order to learn." On the other hand, 68% of students in specialized schools agreed with this statement. This is approximately a 20% gap.
In this chart, you can see that out of the 491 students that responded, 50% of low-income youth agreed with this statement, "My school provides equal opportunities for learning to every student." In contrast, 71% of middle to high-income youth agreed with this statement.
Youth don't want to feel like they have to compete for certain things, like for better textbooks or better, what if they want to go on field trips or something like that.
Finding number 3, young people in New York City want more meaningful opportunities to participate in decision-making about schooling.
In this chart regarding school rules and policies, out of 500 respondents, 80% agreed to the statement, "I would want to participate in setting the rules and policies of my school." We feel that this truly represents the desire of students to participate in decision making.
Let's take a look at Table 8 entitled School Control and Leadership. You can see that 53% agreed to feeling respected by the administration and faculty at their school. But that's not even the worst part. If we look down at the third category, you can see that only 13% agree with the idea of mayoral control in New York City public schools.
Out of 507 respondents, only 39% of students felt that administrators valued their input in decision-making policies. In the next statement, out of 512 respondents, over 3/4 of students know that they can make positive changes in their schools, but feel disempowered to do so.
They also want to know ways to meaningfully participate. They want to know how they can, what to do if they need to talk to their student government, talk to the deans, how they can get a say. Another one is they want more leadership roles. They want to feel like I'm a leader in my own right in my school where I can help make decisions.
Diffuse the feeling of competition by fairly distributing material resources and effective teachers and guidance counselors. This meaning that students feel that they don't want to have to compete for what they deserve, which are the best educational resources and the best educational staff. Just because you don't pay for school does not mean that you don't have the right to an adequate education.
Develop multiple ways for meaningful mass youth participation in school decision-making, rules and policy creation, and enforcement and a reassessment of the purpose of schooling. This means that students want to take part in their educational environment. They feel that their ideas should be taken into consideration and that their voices should be heard.
Reimagine a school leadership that integrates local control that is based on meaningful youth, family, and community participation. Students want a leadership system in their schools where students, as well as their families and the communities, can actively participate rather than being dictated to by policymakers who are not directly involved with each individual school.
So now we're all in college, and we've been in college for a while. I guess my question is, what would you say to state policymakers, the chancellor, the mayor, teachers and principals about the present public educational system? Reflecting on, the YRNES report and information from college.
First, I'd probably say that teachers need to spend more time explaining why we should learn these certain concepts. Not really, in terms of, why do we need to learn math, but more of just, why does, A plus B equals C? Why did slavery last for 400 years? Whereas, that's kind of the model in college. In high school, they'll just teach you, facts and figures, and they'll say, okay, now you have a really big state exam where you have to push in, A, B, C, or D to get the answers, and then once we're done with that, we move on to the next packet of information.
I agree with Alex, and I also feel that most high school students nowadays are not prepared for college, and in college it's more of a open environment. They don't really have the whole multiple choice test that high school students always have to endure, and most high school students, they don't feel like they're ready for college because they're so used to just taking tests and tests and tests all the time. They're not really learning and growing in their environment, and I really feel that policymakers should definitely look into that and sort of make the high school system more transitional into college. It's really hard.
A lot of times for my exams in college, they'll make you write down all of your answers in essay form. I'm not sure if that happens to you guys.
Sometimes.
But it's a lot more than just pushing in certain answers.
Right, I definitely agree with both of you, and I just feel like in high school there was no learning. It was kind of like, let's shovel this information down your throat and then make you regurgitate it. It's like regions. Okay,
Yeah.
why do I take the regions? I want to learn about physics. I don't want to just say, okay, fill in A, B, or C. What is physics? How does it work? How can I learn instead of just taking tests? There needs to be more learning and education instead of just test taking.
The really interesting thing about what you said about the regions is that a lot of times when I was in high school, during my college prep program, so that I can get out of high school into college and out of mayoral control, was that they taught you really how to play the game of test taking more than learning the concepts of the exam. So Sometimes you would read a certain passage and, line 45 would have exactly what question 3 was asking. And it had been to a point where I was just, reading the lines looking for, okay, this line right here, they may ask a question for it later on, so I'll keep that in mind and I'll highlight it or whatever, but not really paying attention to what it is exactly that I read. Like, right now, I couldn't tell you about any of the passages that I've read. And that's a really big problem, because you should understand what you're reading for such a long time and trying to grasp before you get into college.
We are asking for a school system that makes all 1.1 million of us feel welcome and that our schools have been made just for us.
We are asking for schools that are safe but not over-policed.
We are asking for teachers who are interested in what they are teaching and their students.
We are ready to be treated with dignity and respect. We are ready to be involved in making a change.
Now, I'd like to read a statement from Eve Tuck, an assistant professor at SUNY New Paltz, our mentor and the primary researcher in this project, who taught us all we needed to know about participatory action research. And I quote, "Participatory action research, PAR, is practiced all over the world. It is a kind of research in which youth, families, and communities plan and conduct research that matters to them. One of the main goals of PAR is to bring the tools of research to the people who would have otherwise been the subjects of research. In many cases, university researchers work in collaboration with everyday people to generate research projects that will uncover data that will help communities make decisions. In this study, I worked with high school-age youth to create a project that would help us know more about their experiences in New York City public high schools under mayoral control. It is important for youth to investigate the lived realities of education policy. Together, we determined our research questions, developed our methods and instruments of data collection, collected and analyzed our data, and identified our findings. Youth experiences shaped every step in this study and guided what we wanted to know and how we would come to know it," end quote.
I really valued the experience that I had with the YRNES. I learned a great deal from them about research and the whole process, and it's really helping me out in college right now because I'm currently taking sociology courses in research and methods, so definitely appreciate the experience.
Thank you.